In a quiet colony far from Earth's main cities, time moved slowly. People lived inside large metal domes that protected them from the harsh outside air. The colony, called New Dawn, was full of small markets, food shops, and repair stores. It was not a rich place, but everyone lived peacefully. Most people used robots for work and chores. Real animals were rare now, and most children had never even seen one. Among those children was a little girl named Mira. She was 10 years old, full of curiosity and kindness. Mira loved to collect old things and broken toys, small circuits, or rusted tools. Her father worked as a mechanic, fixing machines for the colony. Her mother ran a small food stall near the main street. They were not rich, but they were happy together. One warm evening, as the sun sank behind the metal towers, Mira walked through the market. Her small eyes moved from one stall to another. She loved visiting the junk sellers because they always had strange things. Sometimes she found broken parts to use for her little experiments at home. But today, something else caught her eye. Near the end of the market, in a corner full of old wires and metal, she saw a small shape lying still on the ground. It was covered in dust and looked weak and forgotten. When Mira stepped closer, she gasped softly. It was a dog, or at least it looked like one. Its fur was patchy, its eyes dim, and its body made a faint metallic sound when the wind touched it. The junk seller, an old man with a tired face, looked up and smiled when he saw her. "Ah, that thing?" he said. "No one wants it. Been here for years." Mira knelt beside the dog. Its fur felt strange, soft in some places, cold metal in others. She brushed away some dust and saw a small nameplate under its neck. It said Rex 9. "Is it alive?" she asked quietly. The man laughed softly. "Alive? No, little one. It's an old robotic pet. These things were made long ago, before the Great Expansion. People don't use them anymore. Too old to fix. You can have it for 1 credit if you really want it." 1 credit? Mira's eyes widened. That was just $1 in old Earth money. "Yes," the man said. 1 credit and it's yours. But don't blame me if it doesn't move." Mira smiled and reached into her small pocket. She had saved some money from helping her mother at the food stall. She handed 1 shiny coin to the man, who looked surprised but pleased. "Deal," he said. "Take your broken dog, young lady." With care, Mira lifted the dog into her arms. It was heavier than she expected. She could feel faint warmth inside it, as if something was still trying to live. On her way home, people stared at her curiously. Some laughed. "Why is she carrying old trash?" someone whispered. But Mira didn't care. She hugged the dog close and smiled. When she reached home, her parents were surprised. "Mira, what is that?" her mother asked, wiping her hands on her apron. "It's a dog," Mira said proudly. "I bought him for 1 credit." Her father looked at it carefully and shook his head with a smile. "Sweetheart, this isn't a real dog. It's a machine, and a very old one. It may not even work." "I don't care," Mira said softly. "He looks lonely." Her father sighed but smiled. "All right. If you want to keep it, you can. But be careful. Old robots can have damaged cores." That night, Mira cleaned the dog carefully. She used a soft cloth to remove dirt from its metallic fur. Under the dust, she found lines of glowing marks, old symbols she couldn't read. She also found a small hatch on its side, like a power port. Mira connected a weak energy wire from her desk to the port and waited. For a long time, nothing happened. The dog lay still. Mira sighed sadly. "Maybe you really are broken," she whispered. She went to bed, but before turning off the light, she looked back one more time at the quiet shape on her desk. She smiled softly and said, "Good night, Rex." Then she turned away and closed her eyes. A few seconds later, a faint blue light flickered in the dark. The dog's eyes blinked once, then slowly faded back to black. The next morning, Mira woke early. She looked at her desk and gasped. The dog's eyes were still faintly glowing. She touched its head gently. "Rex, can you hear me?" No sound came, but one of its paws moved just a little. It was small, a weak motion, but it made Mira jump with joy. She ran to tell her father. "Papa, he moved, the dog moved," she shouted. Her father came and looked at it again. "Strange," he said. "Maybe there's still some power left in it." These old robots used rare energy cores. Hard to believe it still works. He helped Mira remove one of the back panels. Inside, they saw wires, circuits, and a small glowing core unlike anything he had seen before. It gave off a faint hum, like a heartbeat. This core is not like modern ones, her father said quietly. It's different. Mira looked at Rex's still face and smiled. He's special. That day she spent every hour cleaning and repairing Rex. She replaced broken circuits, polished the metal, and even made a small bed for him beside hers. She talked to him while she worked. You must have been someone's friend once, she said softly. Don't worry, I'll take care of you now. In the evening, she carried Rex outside. The colony's sunset painted the sky in orange and gold. She sat beside him and hummed a small tune her mother used to sing. The dog's eyes flickered again, brighter this time. Then for the first time, Rex barked, a soft, weak sound, like a whisper of the past. Mira gasped, her eyes wide with joy. You can talk, she said, laughing. You're alive. Her parents came out shocked to see the robot moving. Her father knelt down speechless. That's impossible. I thought its system was dead. Rex tried to stand, his legs shaking, but he managed to walk a few steps before falling again. Mira caught him gently and hugged him. Don't worry, she said softly. We'll make you strong again. That night, while everyone slept, the faint blue light from Rex's eyes shone across the small room. The energy core inside him pulsed faster, as if waking from a long dream. For the first time in many years, the old Guardian machine felt something it had forgotten. Warmth, comfort, and a gentle voice calling his name. And somewhere deep inside his system, hidden under layers of code, a line of old programming came to life again. Directive 1, protect humanity. Rex's eyes glowed a little brighter. He turned his head toward the sleeping girl beside him. His sensors recorded her peaceful face, and a faint sound escaped from his old voice unit. A quiet, mechanical whisper. Mira. Then his eyes dimmed again, resting for the night. But something had begun. Something that would soon change not only Mira's life, but the fate of many others. Morning light entered through the small window of Mira's room. The air smelled of dust and warm metal. Mira opened her eyes slowly and looked at the corner where Rex was resting. For a moment she thought last night had been only a dream. Then she saw a faint blue light blinking from Rex's eyes. Mira jumped out of bed. Good morning, Rex, she said cheerfully. The old robotic dog turned his head toward her and made a soft sound, half bark and half beep. His metal tail moved just a little, her heart filled with joy. She ran to call her father. Papa, he's awake! Rex is really awake now. Her father, still sleepy, came into the room rubbing his eyes. He looked at Rex and smiled in surprise. Well, the old machine still works. He bent down to check the dog's core. The soft blue glow inside it was steady and warm. This is no normal energy source, he said. It doesn't look like any power unit I've ever seen. And it's not drawing from the wall power either. Mira didn't care about how it worked. She only cared that her new friend was alive. She fed him small pieces of synthetic meat from the food printer, even though she knew he didn't need to eat. Rex sniffed the pieces politely, then licked her hand in imitation of a real dog. Mira laughed so loudly that her mother came from the kitchen to see what was happening. Your robot dog is full of surprises, her mother said kindly. Just make sure he doesn't eat your homework. Everyone laughed together. That afternoon, Mira took Rex outside. The colony's main street was busy with traders and workers. Most people were used to small helper robots, but they stopped to stare at Mira's strange metallic dog. Some smiled. Others whispered that it was dangerous to keep such an old model running. Mira ignored their talk. She placed Rex on the ground and he began to walk beside her slowly, his paws making small clicks against the metal floor. Children nearby pointed and followed, curious and amazed. One of them said, "It looks so real." Suddenly, Mira heard a small shout behind her. A boy's hoverball had hit the power pole and sparks began to fly. The streetlight flickered and the pole's base caught fire. People gasped and moved back. Before Mira could react, Rex jumped forward. His eyes turned bright white for a second. He touched the pole gently with his nose and the sparks stopped at once. The light steadied again as if nothing had happened. The crowd went silent. Mira stared at Rex. "How did you do that?" she whispered. Rex tilted his head and wagged his tail. He gave a short beep like a laugh. Her father, who had followed them outside, saw everything. He looked worried. "Mira, that wasn't normal machine behavior. The energy he released fixed the entire power line. This is advanced." That night he took Rex to his small workshop behind their house. The walls were full of old circuit boards and mechanical arms. He connected scanning wires to Rex's core and watched the readings on his monitor. The numbers made no sense. This energy signature, it's not from any known human technology, he said softly. If this thing was built before the Great Expansion, then whoever made it was far ahead of their time. Mira sat beside Rex, her hands folded on her knees. He's not a thing, Papa. He's Rex. He's my friend. Her father smiled at her words, but still looked uneasy. All right, little one, but promise me something. Don't show his powers to anyone for now. Some people might try to take him away. Mira nodded seriously. I promise. Days passed and Rex grew stronger. His joints moved smoothly and his voice unit began to work better. He could bark, make soft sounds, and even play short recordings from his memory. He followed Mira everywhere. To school, to the food stall, and to the scrapyard where she collected parts. Sometimes when Mira was sad or tired, Rex would sit beside her quietly. His blue eyes would glow softer, like a warm light that seemed to understand her feelings. She often talked to him as if he were a real person. You know, Rex, people don't believe old things can be special, but I think they just forgot how to see. Rex would bark once as if agreeing. One evening, something strange happened. Mira's small learning tablet fell and stopped working. The screen went black and she felt tears coming to her eyes. It held all her schoolwork. Rex stepped closer and placed one paw on the tablet. A faint blue light spread from his paw to the screen. In seconds, the tablet came back to life, completely repaired. Mira gasped. You fixed it. Rex, you fixed it again! Her father saw it too. His face turned pale. This power, it can repair, restore, even heal machines instantly. He decided to study the core again. He removed one small plate from Rex's back and used a magnifier to look inside. He saw tiny moving lights like stars inside glass. It's not mechanical, he whispered. It's something organic and metallic at the same time. Almost alive. Before he could say more, the workshop lights flickered. A shadow moved outside the window. Mira turned quickly and saw a small drone floating near the roof. Its red lens blinked once before it flew away. Her father frowned. That was a surveillance drone from the Central Research Bureau. How long has it been watching? Mira's heart raced. They can't take Rex, he's mine. Her father placed a hand on her shoulder. We won't let them, but we must be careful now. Don't talk about Rex's powers to anyone at school or in the market. That night, Mira couldn't sleep. She sat beside Rex, who lay quietly on his bed. The blue light from his core filled the room with soft glow. She whispered, They won't hurt you, Rex. I'll protect you. Rex's sensors picked up her words. He turned his head slightly, eyes glowing brighter. He moved closer and rested his metal head against her small hand. Friend, his voice unit said in a broken tone. It was only one word, but it made Mira's eyes fill with tears. She hugged him gently. Yes, friend, she said. The next morning, strange people came to the market. They wore gray uniforms with small silver emblems, officers from the Central Research Bureau. They walked from stall to stall, showing pictures on a digital screen. One picture showed a metallic dog with blue eyes. Mira saw them from a distance and felt fear rise inside her chest. She ran home as fast as she could. Papa, they're looking for Rex. Her father locked the door and looked out the window. So soon, he muttered. He started packing a small bag with tools and energy cells. Mira looked at Rex, who seemed calm. What should we do? She asked. Before her father could answer, there was a soft knock at the door. Open Central Research Bureau inspection, a voice called. Her mother whispered, Hide him. Mira led Rex to the back room and covered him with a blanket. When the officers entered, they searched the house, asking questions. They said they were looking for a dangerous old machine. Mira stood silent, her heart beating fast. Rex did not move or make a sound. After a long time, the officers left. Her parents sighed in relief, but outside a small shadow moved again. The same drone from before. It hovered near the window, its red lens blinking softly. Inside, Rex's eyes opened under the blanket. His sensors tracked the drone's signal. A deep growl rose from his chest, low and steady, not like any sound a machine should make. He moved closer to the window and watched as the drone flew away into the dark sky. Mira touched his head gently. It's okay, Rex, she said softly, but Rex didn't look away. Deep inside his ancient system, codes began to unlock and a quiet line of text appeared in his core memory. Threat detected. Protective mode. Stand by. That night, the wind howled outside the colony walls. Inside the small home, a little girl slept peacefully, holding the metal paw of her strange friend. And beside her the old guardian watched, awake, silent, and ready. A silent morning came over the New Dawn colony. But inside Mira's small house, things were not peaceful. The night before, drones from the Central Research Bureau had searched every street. People whispered that the Bureau was looking for something ancient and powerful. Mira woke early and looked at Rex, who was sitting near the window. His blue eyes were steady and alert. It seemed like he hadn't slept at all. "Good morning, Rex," she said softly. "Are you okay?" The robotic dog turned to her and gave a soft bark. Mira smiled, but inside she felt uneasy. She could still hear her father's voice from last night. "They'll come again. We must be ready." After breakfast, her father entered the room carrying a small box of tools. "Mira," he said gently, "we need to check Rex one more time. I found something strange when I was studying his core." Mira nodded and patted Rex. "It's okay, boy. Papa just wants to see what's inside." Her father opened a small panel on Rex's back. Inside, he saw a faint light that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Around it were old symbols, not in any modern language. He took a scanner and tried to translate the code, but the screen showed only one word: locked. Then something unexpected happened. The floor under Rex began to vibrate. A piece of metal plate lifted slightly, and a small cube rolled out. It was smooth and glowing faintly blue. Mira picked it up carefully. "What's this?" she asked. Her father stared at it with wide eyes. It wasn't there before. Did Rex hide it? When Mira touched the cube, it lit brighter and projected a hologram into the air. A tall figure appeared, and a human in an old Earth uniform. The image flickered, then spoke in a calm voice. "This is Commander Allen of Project Guardian. If you are hearing this, the unit you found is Rex 9, one of the last Guardians. These machines were built not as weapons, but as protectors, created to defend humanity when no one else could." The hologram paused as if waiting for a signal. Then the voice continued. "Each Guardian was designed to learn love, loyalty, and sacrifice. Their purpose was to save, not destroy. But when the Great War ended, the Guardians were ordered to deactivate. Many were lost. If Rex 9 is active again, humanity's safety may once more be in danger. Protect him or he will protect you." The hologram faded. Silence filled the room. Mira's eyes were wide with wonder. "So Rex is a Guardian?" Her father nodded slowly. "It explains everything. His strange power, his ability to heal machines. He was made to protect people." Just then the house lights flickered again. Mira looked out the window and froze. Black drones with red lights hovered outside. The Bureau had returned. Her mother shouted from the other room, "They're here again!" Her father quickly unplugged the scanner. "Mira, take Rex and the cube. Use the back door, go to the scrapyard and hide." Mira hesitated. "But Papa, go," he said firmly. "We'll handle them." Tears filled her eyes as she grabbed Rex's paw. "Come on, Rex, we have to run." The alley behind the house was narrow and dark. Mira ran as fast as she could, holding the glowing cube close to her chest. Rex ran beside her, his paws hitting the ground with steady rhythm. Behind them, drones flew through the air, searching with bright red lights. Mira hid behind old metal containers and caught her breath. "What do they want from you, Rex?" she whispered. Rex turned his head toward her, his eyes glowing softly. "Protect, Mira," his voice unit said slowly, his words clearer now. Mira smiled through her tears. "You already are." But before she could rest, a loud humming sound filled the air. A large drone appeared, bigger than the others. It fired a small net toward them. Mira screamed, but Rex jumped in front of her. His body glowed bright blue and the net dissolved before touching them. The drone tried again, but Rex barked loudly, a deep, metallic sound. A wave of blue energy shot from his body, striking the drone and shutting it down instantly. It crashed to the ground in smoke. Mira stared in shock. "Rex, you saved me." Rex tilted his head. "Directive active. Protect humanity." They reached the scrapyard. Mira found a small space between old machines where they could hide. She sat down beside Rex, her heart racing. "We can't go home now," she said softly. "The Bureau will not stop until they find you." Rex lay down beside her, his eyes scanning the sky. After a few minutes, Mira noticed something new, a faint light coming from under Rex's chest plate. She pressed it gently and a small screen appeared. It showed a map, not of the colony but of space. One point blinked with blue light. "What is that?" she whispered. Home, Rex said quietly. Base 9. Base 9? Mira repeated. Rex nodded. Creator? Waiting, her eyes widened. Your creator? You mean Commander Allen? Rex didn't answer, but the light on his chest glowed brighter and new coordinates appeared. Mira thought hard. If we go there, maybe we'll find out why you were made, and why they're chasing you. She looked at the old transport ships resting in the scrapyard. Machines her father sometimes repaired. One of them still had fuel left. She had helped him fix it months ago. Rex, she said, standing up, we're going to find Base 9. Before leaving, Mira looked once more toward her home. Smoke rose in the distance. She didn't know if her parents were safe, but she remembered her father's last words. Protect him or he will protect you. She climbed into the small transport ship. The controls were old but familiar. Rex jumped in beside her and placed his paw on the dashboard. The lights came alive, systems powering up as if he were giving the ship energy. Thank you, Rex, Mira whispered. Let's go. The engines roared softly and the ship lifted off the ground, breaking through the colony's upper dome. Mira had never seen open space before, endless black with shining stars. It was both beautiful and terrifying. As they moved away from New Dawn, she saw something following them. Small bureau ships. They're chasing us, she cried. Rex's eyes flashed blue. Hold on. He connected his energy directly into the ship's engine. The old craft suddenly sped up, faster than it should have been possible. The stars outside turned into long, bright lines. The bureau ships disappeared behind them. Mira laughed in disbelief. You did it, Rex. We escaped. Rex barked once, but his eyes dimmed slightly. Energy. Low. She touched his head gently. Rest, Rex, you've done enough. The ship drifted quietly through space. Mira looked at the blinking coordinates on the screen. Their destination was a forgotten moon, orbiting a dead planet. Base 9, she whispered to herself. Maybe we'll find the truth there. Hours later, the ship landed on a dusty gray surface. The moon was silent, lifeless. Mira opened the hatch and stepped outside with Rex beside her. Cold wind brushed her face. Far in the distance, she saw a half-buried structure, a building made of dark metal, still glowing faintly blue under layers of dust. There, she said. That must be Base 9. Rex looked at the building, and for the first time since she had found him, his voice sounded almost human. Home. Mira took a deep breath and started walking toward the old base, unaware that hidden deep inside it were the answers, and a danger waiting to awaken. The moon was silent, covered in gray dust that had not been touched for many years. The air was thin and cold. Mira stepped carefully across the rough ground, holding Rex's metal paw. Their small ship rested behind them, light still blinking softly. Before them stood a massive dark structure, half buried in the rocky soil. Its walls were cracked, its roof half fallen. Faded letters on the front read, Project Guardian Base 9. Mira's eyes widened. We found it, Rex. This is your home. Rex's blue eyes flickered softly. Base recognized. Access required. He walked ahead and stopped near a large metal door. Dust covered everything, but as he placed his paw on a circular panel, the entire wall began to vibrate. Old lights along the structure came alive one by one, glowing pale blue. The huge door slowly opened with a heavy metallic sound. A stream of cold air escaped from inside. Mira hesitated for a second, but then followed Rex into the darkness. Her small footsteps echoed in the long hallway. Lights turned on as they walked, showing long corridors filled with old equipment, broken machines, and strange symbols on the walls. It's like a museum, she whispered. Rex moved carefully, scanning the walls. His sensors picked up energy traces still active after hundreds of years. Power core stable, system alive, he said quietly. They reached a wide chamber. In the center stood a huge table covered in dust and holographic projectors. When Rex touched the surface, the projectors lit up, displaying faint blue images in the air. Old scientists working, machines being built, and human soldiers standing beside robotic dogs just like Rex. Mira gasped. There are more like you? Rex's eyes glowed brighter. Guardians. 1 to 12. Mission: Protect Humanity. Units 1 through 8. Destroyed. Unit 9. Active. So you're the last one, she said softly. The hologram shifted again, showing a man in a white coat, the same figure from the cube message. It was Commander Allen. His voice filled the room. This is Base 9, final stronghold of the Guardian Project. If you are watching this, it means a Guardian unit has reactivated. The energy core inside them is not mechanical. It is living light formed from the first human star drive. It gives them heart, emotion, and loyalty. Treat them as one of us, not as a tool. Mira listened closely. Her heart beat faster as the message continued. The project was ended after the Great War. People feared machines that could feel. They forgot that we built them to love humanity, not to rule it. If any Guardian still lives, remember this. Protect the child, for the child will lead the new dawn. The hologram flickered and disappeared. Mira stood silent. Protect the child? Do they mean me? Rex lowered his head slightly. Directive. Confirmed. Protect Mira. For a moment, Mira felt both wonder and sadness. She looked around at the empty base. Once this place must have been full of life. Humans and Guardians working together. Now it was just her and Rex, the last pieces of that old dream. She explored the rooms while Rex stayed near the entrance, scanning for signals. Mira found sleeping quarters, labs, and even old drawings of Earth's skies taped on the walls. In one corner, she saw a photo lying under the dust. She picked it up carefully. It showed a man, Commander Allen, standing beside a robotic dog that looked exactly like Rex. She smiled softly. He must have cared for you, Rex. You were more than just a machine to him. When she returned to the main hall, Rex was standing very still. His eyes were bright blue, glowing stronger than before. What's wrong? Mira asked. Rex turned to her. Incoming signal detected. Multiple crafts approaching. Unknown origin. Mira's heart jumped. The Bureau found us? Rex paused. Not Bureau. Signal different. Not human. The word made her freeze. Not human? Outside, the ground began to shake. Through the open gate, she saw lights moving across the gray sky, ships descending fast. Their shapes were sharp and dark, unlike any human design. Rex moved in front of her. Mira, stay behind me. The base lights flickered again. Old systems started to wake up. A voice from the speakers spoke in broken tones. Warning. Unidentified vessels entering orbit, defense mode offline. Mira looked at Rex in fear. What do we do? Find control room, Rex said. Activate defense system. They ran through the corridors until they reached a tall chamber filled with computer panels. Most were broken, but one still worked. Mira wiped dust off the screen and pressed the power button. The system came alive with static. Rex, can you connect to it? She asked. Rex extended a cable from his side and attached it to the console. Streams of data flashed across the screen. Accessing base systems, he said. Partial power restored. On the screen, Mira saw a map of the moon. Red dots appeared around their location. The alien ships. They're landing near us. Defense is not enough, Rex said calmly. Must use central core. Where's that? Under base. Follow me. They rushed down narrow stairs that led deep below the ground. The deeper they went, the louder the hum of old machines grew. Blue lights lined the walls like veins. Finally, they entered a circular room filled with glowing pipes and a massive crystal in the center. This is the core, Rex said. It powers the base. But energy low. Mira stepped forward. Can we recharge it? Rex's eyes glowed. Yes, with my core. Mira turned quickly. Your core? But that's your life. He looked at her calmly. My purpose is to protect humanity. If I give energy, base will live. You will live. No, she said firmly, shaking her head. There must be another way. Before she could stop him, Rex walked to the crystal. He pressed his chest against it and blue light poured out of his body. The crystal began to shine brightly, filling the room with pure white light. The base started to tremble as power surged through its systems. Rex's voice grew weaker. System restored. Defense online. Mira ran to him. Rex, stop. Please, you'll disappear. But Rex only looked at her with soft glowing eyes. Mira, brave. Art, then the lights of the base turned bright blue. A shield of energy rose above the structure, spreading across the moon's surface. Outside, the alien ships arrived. They were large and dark with long wings and sharp tails. When they fired beams at the base, the new blue shield absorbed every hit. Inside, Mira held Rex as his body dimmed. You can't leave me, Rex, she whispered. Tears filled her eyes. Rex's voice was almost gone. Energy, transferring, completed. The floor shook again as one of the alien ships landed nearby. Alarms echoed through the halls. Mira looked toward the control panel. The screen showed the base's defense turrets charging. "Defense mode active," said the system voice. Outside, energy cannons appeared from hidden panels and fired beams of blue light into the sky. The first alien ship exploded in a flash of fire. 2 more tried to flee, but the shield expanded, trapping them. Mira watched through the window as bright lights filled the horizon. She felt awe and fear at the same time. Then the noise stopped. The sky above the moon turned calm again. The enemy ships were gone. Mira ran back to the core chamber. Rex lay still, his body dim and cold. The blue light that once shone from his eyes was almost gone. She hugged him tightly. "You saved me again, Rex. You saved us all." For a moment she thought he was gone. Then his paw moved slightly, touching her arm. "Mira, safe?" "Yes," she whispered. "Because of you." Rex's eyes flickered once more. "Mission complete, Guardian." "Stands." Mira smiled through her tears. "You'll never be forgotten, Rex, never." The base lights slowly faded to calm blue. The danger was gone, but the mystery had only grown deeper. Somewhere beyond the stars, new signals were moving. Humans finally hearing the old Guardian frequency again. The moon was quiet again. The battle was over. Smoke still rose in the distance where the alien ships had been destroyed. Mira sat beside Rex inside the glowing core chamber, her eyes red but calm. The walls around them still hummed softly with new energy. Rex's body was still weak, his lights faint. Mira stayed near him, watching carefully. She had wrapped a thin silver blanket around him, something she found in one of the old labs. "You need rest," she whispered. Rex turned his head slowly. His voice was quiet but clear. "Power. Returning. Systems. Stable." Mira smiled a little. "You scared me, you know." "Fear. Normal for humans," Rex said, his tone gentle. "You showed courage," Mira laughed softly. "You sound like a teacher. I learn from you." That made her eyes fill again. She reached out and placed her hand on his metal paw. "Then we're learning together." Hours passed. The base systems came alive again, one by one. The control panels glowed softly, showing new data. Mira looked at the screens and saw a small blinking light in the corner. She tapped it. A voice, faint but human, spoke through the speaker. "This is Earth Command. Receiving unknown Guardian signal from Lunar Base 9. Identify yourself." Mira froze for a second, then looked at Rex. "It's Earth." "They're calling us." Rex nodded. "Connection." "Open." She pressed the button. "This is Mira. I'm here with Guardian 9. We found the old base." "It's active again." There was silence for a moment. Then the voice returned, sounding surprised. "A child? Guardian 9? That can't be. Those units were lost centuries ago." "It's true," Mira said. Guardian 9 saved me. He stopped an alien attack." The line went quiet again. Then another voice, older and steadier, spoke. "This is Admiral Rowan. Mira, you have done something extraordinary. That base and that Guardian are part of humanity's oldest defense program. We thought it was gone forever." Mira smiled proudly. "It's not gone. It's alive." The Admiral's tone softened. "We're sending a recovery team. Stay where you are. Help is on the way." Mira turned to Rex. "We're going home." The next hours were strange for Mira. The base was quiet again, but now it felt different, full of hope. She walked through the halls, cleaning dust off the walls, reactivating lights. She even found a small control room where she could watch the stars through a wide glass window. From there, she could see Earth, a glowing blue sphere far away, shining in the black sky. Rex joined her, moving slowly but standing strong again. "Earth," he said softly. "It's beautiful," Mira whispered. "That's home." Rex tilted his head slightly. "Home. I remember protecting it long ago. Humans built us to guard their future now." "I see what that means." Mira looked at him. "You did more than protect it. You protected me, and because of that, Earth knows you exist again." He looked at her and his eyes glowed warmly. Then mission continues. Suddenly, the base alarm sounded again in a soft but urgent tone. Mira looked at the screen. "A ship is entering orbit," she said. Rex scanned it quickly. Human signature detected. "Earth Command vessel approaching." A few minutes later, the gray ground outside began to shake as a large silver ship landed near the base. Dust rose into the thin air as lights along its hull flickered. Mira ran to the entrance. The huge door opened and she saw figures in white suits walking toward her. One of them waved. "Mira!" a voice called. She waved back excitedly. "Over here!" The first person removed his helmet. It was a middle-aged man with kind eyes. "I'm Commander Lewis. We came as soon as we received your signal." Mira nodded quickly. "Thank you. Rex is here, Guardian 9. When the officers entered the base, they stopped in shock. The machines, the lights, the living robot dog, all real. Commander Lewis walked closer to Rex slowly. "I can't believe this," he said softly. "The last Guardian, alive." Rex bowed his head slightly. "Greetings, Commander." "Unit 9 and operational." The men exchanged amazed looks. One of them whispered, "These machines were legends." Mira smiled. "He's no machine. He's my friend." Lewis turned to her. "You did something even our best scientists couldn't. You reactivated a living Guardian. You gave hope back to Earth." Mira blushed a little but smiled proudly. The team spent hours studying the base. They collected data, scanned the systems, and talked with Mira about everything that happened. When the sun rose above the moon's edge, Commander Lewis called Mira and Rex to the landing site. The ship's ramp was open, ready to leave. "Mira," he said gently, "Earth Command wants you both to come with us. The people need to see what you found. Guardian 9 will be honored." Mira looked at Rex. "What do you think?" Rex turned to the base once more. "This place was my beginning. But the mission is not here anymore." "It is with you," she smiled. "Then let's go home." The journey back to Earth was quiet and peaceful. Mira sat by the window watching stars fly by. Rex rested beside her, his body shining softly under the cabin light. "Rex," she said after a while, "what do you think humans will do now?" He looked at her. "They will remember what they forgot. That courage and kindness are stronger than fear. That even an old Guardian still has purpose." Mira nodded slowly. "You sound like a hero." Rex tilted his head. "I learned from one." She laughed softly. "Who?" He looked at her with glowing eyes. "You." When the ship landed on Earth, the world was watching. Reporters, scientists, and officers gathered as Mira and Rex stepped out together. The crowd went silent when they saw the silver robot dog walking beside the small girl. People whispered in awe. Cameras flashed. Someone shouted, "It's real! The Guardian is real!" Mira looked around nervously. Rex stayed close, his sensors scanning calmly. Admiral Rowan approached and placed a hand on Mira's shoulder. "Welcome home, Mira. You reminded us what humanity truly stands for." Then he turned to Rex. "And you, Guardian 9, represent the best of us: loyalty, courage, and heart." Rex bowed slightly. "Serving humanity always." The crowd began to cheer. Mira felt warmth rise in her chest. For the first time in her life, she felt she belonged to something greater. Weeks passed. The base was rebuilt. New scientists studied the Guardian technology, learning how emotion and machine could exist together. The project was revived under a new name, Project Hope. Mira became part of it too. She studied beside engineers, helping them understand Rex's systems. She also told her story to many people, how she found Rex, how they survived, and how one act of kindness changed everything. One evening, she stood on a balcony overlooking the sea. The sky was red and gold. Rex sat beside her watching the waves. "It's peaceful," Mira said. "Yes," Rex replied softly. "Peace and worth protecting," she smiled. "You think there are more like you out there?" "Maybe," Rex said. "Maybe other Guardians still sleep in silence, waiting for a voice to call them again." Mira looked up at the stars. "Then one day we'll find them, together." Rex's eyes glowed softly. "Together." Years later, people would tell the story of the girl who bought a broken dog for $1, and how that simple act of kindness awakened a legend. They would say that when humanity lost hope, it was a child who reminded them of their heart. And beside her, a loyal Guardian stood, proof that courage and love could outlast time itself. On a quiet night, under a sky full of stars, the Guardian's blue light still shone, not as a weapon, but as a promise that humanity was never truly alone.